What I remember about the experience is that it was painful and traumatic. We were living in a hospital in the village, not in the towns. And this was a war area. So we were told that the government troops was coming to attack the hospital because it was usual for the then government troops to attack instead of the rebels attacking. So we ran from the hospital to the bush, which is, because the hospital itself was in the bush anyway. And from the bush is where we got rebels, and we were taken up by rebels, and we ended up being in the rebel organization for 3 years. And that is, in the 3 years is when I was a child soldier. My understanding is that it's not that for one person to succeed, the other must fail. Or for one society to prosper, the other one must fail. If this was the analogy, then we would have a perpetual conflict in the world. But we can all succeed and survive at the same time. So the possibility of peace in the world is there as a general rule. To me, the possibility of peace in the world exists. And it's only that we have not yet touched the right knob. What government can do is to ensure the provisions of these needs and ensure its equitability, its balance. And of course, the idea is then therefore when all these other basic materials are put, to explain to people, and that maybe forms the ideas. The economic suffering of the people. When people's needs are not addressed, like we have poverty, any leader can take advantage and misrepresent this. And when it takes to this misrepresentation, he can always fashion it in any way. UN is not as supervisory as such. Well, United Nations, as you know, is a composition of independent states. But they are binding, implementable, detailed systems, which if followed by states as they are binding, it can work. At the outset, it appears so theoretical. But the inbuilt follow-up mechanism, if well followed, has operationalization capacity and system. It can work. I get to know that science is the principles or is the laws that if you apply in a particular trend produces a result. So I thought therefore that science can be used for the betterment of man. Yes, I do think so. First of all, Science for Peace, as an organization, can do it because you are actually advocating for the right objective. So as I said earlier, objective reality touches. 2, even in the scarcity that we are talking about, that human needs, that human conflicts are always based on material necessity, science can really bring that needs. Religion, the role of religion is that it harmonizes society. Many religions preach peace. I'm saying many, not all. So religion can bring harmony, can bring peace. And we should also remember that religion, like culture and other norms or practices in society, comes at a particular level of economic development or scientific development. My contribution would be, first of all, to advocate for people to accept that science for peace has a cause and a genuine one. So I would take advocacy at whatever level. It's also myself to be convinced that it is through science and peace that we can actually address the underlying causes of this scarcity which brings conflicts in society. Yes, justice and equality is a basic principle that we all adore, and it's possible. But again, as I said, justice and equality in a sense that we are really addressing the right demands of the people to avoid a circumstantial and a relative usage of the principle. If we do it like that, then we would just be covering it up and it will not stop any conflict. Science is the only way that we can get to this, because it's not a wishful thinking. It's a practical, achievable thing. If you fail to achieve it, you can even redo it, and it is measurable, it is quantifiable, it is seen even why you have failed and what you should do to succeed. So it's not utopian to think that the usage of science is the ultimate means to achieve an objective, to achieve an end.